Welcome to this World Introvert Day webinar. And I've been offering webinars on this date for many years now. For those of you who've not met me before, I'm Joanna Rawbone, the founder of Flourishing Introverts. Now, as we step gingerly into 2026, we can be confident knowing that the worst has passed. The festivities are typically over and the guests have hopefully returned to their own homes. For some, that now means that the world of work beckons, and for some of you, I know that you're maybe already back at your desks. I'd like to welcome those who are joining me live, and as I know that others will be watching on catch up, for both of you, make sure that you do have the worksheet that goes with this, because I've specifically designed this session to be the perfect pause whenever you need it. So the worksheet is something that you'll have to hand to be able to make sure that you can jot your thoughts, ideas down, and maybe note down answers to questions that I'm going to be posing. So make sure you've signed up, because that link will come to you with the replay. Now, throughout December, many of us brace in readiness for the seasonal madness. It's like the flight safety demonstration is running on a continuous loop right through the month. And whilst we can now lift our heads up and unfold ourselves from our braced position, the tension still holds in muscle memory. As a big fan of bioenergetics, I know only too well that hold together, hold on, hold up, hold in, and hold back positions. You see, we still carry the residue of bracing, even though the season has now passed. And we hold it beyond a moment when we could intentionally let the tension go. So the whole purpose of my WID session this month is to encourage your continued unfolding so you can arrive back to yourself, calm, relaxed, and ready for the year ahead. I've already had emails telling me that I need to be setting goals to crush. Well, that's not what this session is about. We have Felicitas Hain to thank for this World Introvert Day, and she named it in 2011, actually, as a place to give the excluded a voice. And with all of our bracing, our voice is often lost. It's almost like it gets a hold around our throat too. I firmly believe that we're only excluded all the time we comply or collude with the bias that favours extroverts. So today is a pause point, not an event as such. It's a landing place where you can drop your shoulders, open your heart, and shake off the tension you might be feeling. It's a point where we choose ourselves so we can flourish. Now, during this time that we've just had spent with others, we frequently adapt continuously and often subconsciously. This is part of being an emotionally intelligent human, so that in itself is not an issue. I'm talking about everyday adaptations like changing our tone, masking our dislike for something or someone, staying longer than feels right, biting your tongue for the sake of peace, calming potential conflict. As introverts, we are masters of scanning the room. And these adaptations, well, they're learned skills that keep us safe and help us to navigate this world that's not designed for our temperament. The problems arise when we don't clock what we're doing, when more of it is subconscious rather than done consciously. We don't notice that we're compromising ourselves in the process of our adaptation, and all in order to please other people. When we overdo our adaptations, when they become expected or habitual, we can lose that essential connection with ourselves. Our clarity begins to get blurry, a bit like a mirage, until we're unsure about what we're really seeing and feeling. All of this tends to result in feeling perpetually depleted, even when things appear to be going well. I know that I have felt that, and I suspect you have felt it too. So let's spend a moment exploring the distinction between bracing and steadiness. Bracing is something many of us have learned to do very well, and often from a young age. It's that tension we feel in our muscles and our thought processes. It's aligned with our fight, flight, freeze, fawn stress response, and it's embedded in muscle memory. So much so that it's often triggered unnecessarily and at inappropriate times. A simple word, someone's gesture, a sound even. So why not spend a bit of time now understanding your bracing patterns and the impact that it has, the toll it takes? I refer you to step 1 of your worksheet, which is around noticing the signal. And I'd like you to spend a moment capturing what you notice first when you brace. Is it that tightening of the shoulders? In my case, my shoulders come up to meet my ears, so I know very well when I'm bracing. Maybe it's a thought process or pattern. Maybe it's the inner critic kind of gets hold of your thoughts. Or maybe it's a behavior. Maybe you feel yourself physically retreat. Make a note for yourself on the worksheet about what is it you notice first when you brace. You probably do all of those, but is there an order to them? Give you a moment to capture your thoughts there. Let's stay with bracing for a moment and move on to step 2, where I ask you to think about, what are you protecting? What feels at stake for you? What's the driver behind that bracing? Maybe it's a sense of belonging or not. Maybe it's to protect harmony, especially if there's conflict whirling around. Maybe it's around protecting your competence or being able to demonstrate your competence. Perhaps it's about being understood. Maybe it's around protecting your truth. You'll know what feels at stake in those moments when you think bracing is the only answer. So again, take a couple of moments just to capture your thoughts. And of course, you can come back to this worksheet anytime you like. Now, if we are bracing in the name of protecting something, there'll be a cost to that. Because when we run patterns like that for any length of time, it does take its toll. So what is it costing you? Is it costing you energy? Is it costing you clarity? Is it costing you connection with yourself? So are you losing that precious and vital connection to yourself? Again, take a moment or two just to think about what it's costing you. One of the things it costs me quite often is a real sense of self-trust. And we're going to come on to look at that. So now you've got a better grasp of your bracing patterns. I want you to now think about steadiness, because steadiness is something altogether different. It's not collapse, it's not passivity, it's not guarded, and it's certainly not boring. I had someone say to me many years ago that my delivery was steady, and I took that as a negative. What I've now realized actually is that it's a real positive, and I can appreciate that. Because steadiness is a wonderful sense of presence that inhabits our whole being and has us rooted in knowing who we are. It has nothing to do with performance and everything to do with self-trust. It's when we have that sense of remembering who we really are, being unshakable in our self-belief, and moving calmly through life's challenging situations. So I believe we can ignore or brush off with a knowing smile the unsolicited advice that often comes our way to toughen up, to grow a pair, or stop being so woke. Instead, I encourage you to really listen to your inner wisdom, because you need do none of those things. Now, we've been talking about bracing and steadiness as ideas. Bracing is a strategy you've learned over time. Steadiness is a state. And for the next few minutes, we're going to let your body experience steadiness directly through a guided meditation. And whilst this will help you to relax, the main purpose is to facilitate integration of that self-trust and unfolding to enable you to continue to unfold. By simply giving your system a chance to recognize another way of being, you'll know that you can access this steadiness whenever you want to or need to. And after the guided meditation, you'll be invited to capture a short phrase that helps you recognize and return to that steadiness in everyday life. So let's move into our beautiful guided meditation. And I invite you to take a moment to arrive as we transition from that bit of content, if you like, into the guided meditation. There's nothing to get right here, nothing to fix, nothing to perform. If it's safe to do so, you're welcome to close your eyes or soften your gaze, whatever helps you to feel most at ease. And as we begin, remember, choice belongs to you. You can move, adjust, pause, or stop at any point. Your body leads and your inner world sets the pace. So before we go anywhere, I invite you to notice your breathing, not to change it yet, just to notice where it naturally lives. Perhaps in the chest, perhaps in the belly, perhaps shallow, perhaps deep. All of it is welcome. Now, gently allow your breath to slow a little, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth, as though you were gently fogging a mirror. Nothing forced, nothing dramatic, just intentional breath. Let your out breath be slightly longer than your in breath. In, cool and deep, and slow, warm out. Again, in and longer out. Each longer exhale quietly tells your nervous system there is no immediate threat. As your breath settles into a calming rhythm, bring your awareness to your body. Notice where your body is supported, the chair holding you, the floor receiving your weight. Gravity doing its quiet, reliable work. No need to brace for gravity. You're already held. With your next out breath, invite your shoulders to soften, not pulled back or pushed down, just released from effort. There. Another slow breath in, and as you breathe out, let your jaw unclench. Feel your cheeks soften and your tongue rest softly. Allow the muscles around your eyes to relax. Now, scan your body from head to toe. Notice places that feel tight or vigilant, the remnants of bracing maybe. As you notice, encourage your breath to visit those places, not to fix, but to accompany. And imagine each exhale feels like a soft wave moving out from the shore, taking your unwanted tension with it. Your body knows what it needs. Each longer exhale is like loosening a knot, patient, gradual, kind. As your body and mind continue to rest easily, notice what your body no longer needs to do. What effort has quietly dropped away? Your mind and body already know what steadiness is. We're just giving it time to remember how to go there. Now, staying right here, notice the quality of being that's present. Perhaps there's a sense of settling, or space, or quiet, calm alertness. Notice the depth and breadth of self-trust that is present when you choose to allow it. Notice how your body is when you trust yourself. What effort is erased? What no longer needs to be held? This is about letting the nervous system register this as another way of being that's completely within your grasp. Steadiness doesn't announce itself loudly. It often feels simple, unremarkable, enough. Stay here for a few slow breaths. Now, if it feels right to do so, place a hand on your belly or your chest. Notice the warmth of your own touch. Allow that softer, calming breath to envelop you. This kind of breath is one that really cossets. In through the nose, allowing the belly to gently expand, and out through the mouth, as if you're sighing contentedly. This kind of breath signals safety. It's the breath of rest, the breath of enough, the breath of absolute trust in yourself. You might like to imagine your breath moving down the spine on the inhale and spreading through your body on the exhale. Let this way of breathing become less something to do and more something you really experience. Keeping the breath slow and easy, gently widen your awareness. Let sounds come and go without tracking them. Breathing out, let sound pass through. Notice your contact points again, where you're held, how you're sitting. With each exhale, feel yourself held more fully. Whatever is present or absent, simply notice, then release. Whether your eyes are open or closed, allow seeing to be soft. No scanning, no vigilance. The breath supports all of this, quietly, steadily, unremarkably. Now imagine this through all and any of your senses. With each slow breath out, imagine roots extending from your body downwards, down into the ground. They extend naturally and settle. Inhale, gently extending. Exhale, firmly anchoring. Roots thrive on slow, steady breathing. The wind can move you, the breath can move you, and still you remain grounded. Now allow your breath to return to its own natural rhythm. And notice what's underneath your breath. A sense of steadiness, a quiet inner climate, an unshakable self-trust. Take one slightly deeper breath in and a long, easing breath out. Feel the support beneath you again, the space around you, the steadiness within you. And when you're ready, invite gentle movement back into your fingers, toes, shoulders. Have a little wriggle. And when it feels right, open your eyes or lift your gaze. My intention is that you carry this experience with you. Yes, as a technique, but more profoundly as a remembering. You don't need to brace for the world. You can meet it from steadiness within. As we come back, I'm not going to ask you to analyze what just happened, but instead I'd like you to notice what your body would like to remember. Not as a rule or a demand, but as a reminder you can return to. And now is a great time to jot anything from that experience into the worksheet in the space provided. And I'll just be quiet for a moment while you do that. Oh, that we could hold on to the deep sense of peace and calm we feel during meditations like that. Well, we can. And one way to do just that is through affirmations. I suspect many of us have heard about affirmations, but may not know the science behind them. They've been around in various guises for decades, if not centuries. And what started as optimistic auto-suggestion was popularized by the likes of Napoleon Hill and in the 80s, Louise Hay. In short, affirmations are positive statements that have the ability to enhance someone's self-belief. They're shown to have benefits to both our physical and mental health. They align with our brain's ability of neuroplasticity in that they help to rewire the brain, enhancing realistic optimism and resilience. With repeated use, they help to strengthen neural pathways, making them more natural thought patterns than perhaps the old ways. Self-affirmations, as opposed to general affirmations, specifically affirm someone's core values. For instance, I am a kind person. I value difference. They're two of my starting points. And then you add something that means something for future actions. In my case, I value difference, so I choose to understand what makes people tick. And I'm a kind person, so I choose to think kindly of people and speak kindly to everyone. Scientists have found that people who write and repeat their affirmations tend to make better choices and have a stronger sense of self. What doesn't help is to use affirmations that feel out of reach, that are designed by someone else, or those that smack of toxic positivity. Here are some tips then. Creating your own affirmations that are grounded in your values works best. Include a forward focus that what your value enables you to do. And use your dominant sense to bring them to life daily. So for some, that'll be visualizing. For others, it'll be repeating them or hearing them, writing them. So many different ways to use your dominant sense. The best affirmations aren't about making something happen. They're phrases that help you recognize when you're already there. They help you to remember your qualities. So with steadiness specifically in mind, here are 3 of mine as examples. Steadiness enables me to be kind to myself and others. There's the link to my values. Steadiness supports my ability to deliver. Service is important to me, so that helps. My steadiness allows me to honor my boundaries, something many of we introverts need to be clearer on. So take some time now to look back through the notes you've made and craft the first of your affirmations, one that will enable you to access your steadiness when you might have been tempted to brace. In a moment, I'll ask you to look at or offer you some sentence starters in step 4. But let the words come from your experience, not from how you think you should sound. So just spend a few moments looking back through your notes and thinking back through the meditation. Let's now move on to step 4 of your worksheet. And I've offered you there, as promised, some sentence stems. So read the starters that are on your sheet and choose one, circle it, copy it, and really think about how you might finish that. And if none of those work for you, start your own sentence stem. When I notice myself bracing, I remind myself that I am powerful when it is safe for me to, my end to that sentence is that it is safe for me to unfold. I am at home within myself when I can stay present without a selection of you there to think about and choose. Or, as I say, craft one for yourself. And once you've chosen the start of your sentence, finish it in your own words in the space provided. It is safe for me to unfold. And when I say that, I actually feel my chest open. A beautiful feeling. And this is just a start. So remember that to come back to this and think about how you might want to refine it and add others later on. You may come back and choose to simplify it, rewrite your sentence so it's short and easy to remember. Because these are your affirmations grounded in at least one of your values. And as you write or say your affirmation, check in with your body. Read your sentence slowly, out loud if possible, because it lands very differently when we hear ourselves say these things rather than just read them silently. Does it feel steady and believable? Is it a remembering or is it aspirational? If needed, soften the wording and rewrite it once more. And then think about when you'll use it. When I think about the one that's so strong for me, it's safe for me to unfold. The times where I needed that was during stressful family times. We had quite challenging family situations. But I've also used it before meetings. But you choose when you might return to that sentence. When are those times where typically you would have braced in the past? One-to-one with the boss, performance reviews, giving a presentation, meeting the hostile family, being in crowds of people that you don't enjoy being with, feeling you're having to justify your opinion. Think about one situation and then capture that so that you can come back to it